Jayubat Madhava Kunjabi Auri Jayubat Madhava Kunjabi Auri Jayurat Madhava Kunjabi Auri Yashodanandana Brajajanu Anjana Yashodanandana Brajajanu Anjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Jayuvat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Jayurat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Gopijana Pallava Girivaritavi Jayo Gopijana Pallava Girivaritavi Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayuvat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Jayurat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Jayuvat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Jayurat Madhava Kunjabi Avi Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
So we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this Adi Lila chapter 1, and his text 53. Jaya 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 Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Joy. Very good. So, I'll attempt with blessings of the assembled Vaishnavas to present Chaitanya Charitamrita, text 53, Adilena, chapter 1. Aham ispayam evgre na yad yat sad asat param Vakstadam yat itakcha yuvasi yati sasminaham. So word for word translation. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead.
The personality of God.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
Asham,
existed.
existed.
Eva, only. Agree, before the creation.
Before the creation.
Na, never. Anyat, anything else. Yat, which. Sat, the effect. Asat, the cause. Param, the supreme. Paschat, at the end. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Yat, which. Etat, this creation. Cha, also. Yaha, who. Avishishyeta, remains. Saha, that. Ashmi, am. Aham, I, the personality of Godhead. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Prior to the cosmic prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything. And after annihilation, only I remain eternally. Repeat after me. Prior to the cosmic creation,
Prior to the cosmic creation,
only I exist,
only I exist,
and no phenomena exist,
and no phenomena exist,
either gross,
either gross,
subtle, or primordial.
subtle, or primordial.
After creation,
After creation,
only I exist
only I exist
in everything.
in everything,
And after annihilation,
and after annihilation,
only I remain
only I remain
eternally.
eternally.
Purport. Aham means, it's quite a long purport, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do just a few paragraphs, and then I'll go through it bit by bit. Aham means I. Therefore, the speaker who is saying Aham, I, must have his own personality. The Mayavadi philosophers interpret this word Aham as referring to impersonal Brahman. These Mayavadis are very proud of their grammatical knowledge. But any person who has actual knowledge of grammar can understand that Aham means I, and that I refers to a personality. Therefore, the personality of Godhead speaking to Brahman uses Aham while describing his own transcendental form. Aham has a specific meaning. It is not a vague term that can be whimsically interpreted. Aham, when spoken by Krishna, refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and nothing else. Om Aganyam Tamarandasya Janasalaka Chaksashaya Om Litsena Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Startipam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dantika Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamala Shri Guru Vaivashtams Shri Rupam Sagriya Jatam Saha Gana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sri Jivam Shri Advaita Savadip Jutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vitastamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopiksha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapa Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vishubhanu Sitadevi Pramanami Hari Pare Vanchika Patrubhischa Gripa Sindhu Ivita Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll just read the translation again. Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist, and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything. And after annihilation, only I remain eternally. So there's a very interesting sloka about, I can't even say creation, what's this? About, well, yeah, okay, I will say it. I will say creation. So here, creation is connected to a personality. So modern materialistic sort of scientific theories about creation, not created to a personality. Maybe a lump of rock or just an accident, but it's not related to a personality. So when I'm going to go through this purport bit by bit, and it'll be become quite obvious that the Vedanta presentation of creation is starkly different to the materialistic scientific proposition of creation. And this is the second paragraph. Before the creation and after its dissolution, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his associates exist. And there is no existence of the material elements. This is confirmed in the Vedanta literature. Vasudeva va idam agra asnin na brahmana chak sankaraha. The meaning of this mantra is that before creation there was no existence of Brahma or Shiva, for only Vishnu existed. Vishnu exists in his abode, the Vaikunthas. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and on each of them Vishnu resides with his associates and his paraphernalia. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that although the creation is periodically dissolved, there is another abode which is never dissolved. The word creation refers to the material creation, because in the spiritual world, everything exists eternally and there is no creation or dissolution. So there's two interesting things here, that when Krishna refers to I, then it's not just in the mundane sense. I refers to the ego, me, myself, I, of a very minute spark, or not that the scientists know that, but a very minute spiritual spark of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a conditioned soul, who just relates to things in terms of I and mine. Whereas when Krishna used the term I, he's referring to himself, but Krishna is no ordinary living entity, subject to the three modes of material nature, subject to the mistakes, or the defects of the conditioned soul, the cheating propensity, subject to being an illusion. These are absence in the Supreme. So when Krishna refers to I, he's referring in this paragraph, he's referring to not only himself, his associates exist, and also later on his paraphernalia. Now, also he's saying there is no existence of the material elements. So this is the thing where these spiritual scriptures, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they are giving complete knowledge of the creation, which is not subject to change. So also it's given in terms of matter and spirit, whereas the material sort of analysis of creation is only given in terms of, well, actually it's quite wrong, but it's only given in terms of matter. People don't know anything beyond matter. They don't know the spiritual the dimension at all. It's just not on the radar. So here, towards the end of the paragraph, it's saying the word creation refers to material creation, because in the spiritual world everything exists eternally and there is no creation or dissolution. And even scientists, material scientists, there may be a hint of that some things are happening periodically, because you have the sunrise and you have the sunset. Day follows night, night follows day. Week in, week out. So there's a periodical change. Everything comes in cycles. So there may be theories that matter may be created and destroyed in a cycle, maybe. But this when I was growing up, basically the main sort of theory is the Big Bang, which implies just one event and that's it. So here the Vedanta conclusion is that creation is going on in cycles, creation and dissolution is going on periodically. The Lord indicates herein that before the material creation, he exists in fullness with all transcendental opulences, including strength, all wealth, all beauty, all knowledge, and all fame and renunciation. If one thinks of a king, he automatically thinks of his secretaries, ministers, military commanders, palaces, and so on. Since the king has such opulences, one can simply try to imagine the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Lord says Aham, therefore, it is to be understood that he exists with full potency, including all opulences. Again, in connection to the creation. So we never think, at least me, as I'm growing up, never relate the creation or the material world as in relationship to the Supreme. So this is a personal sort of presentation, or this is a personalistic philosophy, stating that the absolute truth is a person with his paraphernalia, with his opulences. And the material world, the material energy, is one of Krishna's opulences. And later on it describes even the energy of time. Time I am the destroyer of these worlds. So Krishna is full of all these opulences, which we're as we're growing up in an impersonalist environment, we're seeing the creation separate from the creator. And the interesting thing about mentioning about Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma not being present at the creation is that Lord Vishnu is in the mode of goodness, and the mode of goodness is one of the symptoms of the mode of goodness is to maintain. So he's always there, maintain always. Whereas Lord Brahma is creation, Lord Shiva is dissolution. There's no maintenance within those personalities. The word Yat refers to Brahman, the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. In the Brahma Samhita 540, it is said, Tad Brahma Nishkalam Anantam Ashisha Bhutam. The Brahman effulgence expands unlimitedly. Just as the sun is a localized planet, interesting term, localized planet, although the sunshine expands unlimitedly from the source, that source, so the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But his effulgence of energy, Brahman, expands unlimitedly. From that Brahman energy, the creation appears, just as a cloud appears in sunshine. From the cloud comes rain, from the rain comes vegetation. And from the vegetation comes fruits and flowers, which are the basis of substance for and many other forms of life. Similarly, the effulgent bodily luster of the Supreme Lord is the cause of the creation of the infinite universes. The Brahman effulgence is impersonal, but the cause of that energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. From him, in his abode, the Vaikunthas, the Brahmajyoti emanates. He is never impersonal. Since they cannot understand the source of the Brahman energy, impersonalists mistakenly choose to think that the impersonal Brahman, the ultimate effulgence. I'll read that again. Since they cannot understand the source of the Brahman energy, impersonalists mistakenly choose to think this impersonal Brahman the ultimate or absolute goal. But as stated in the Upanishads, one has to penetrate the impersonal effulgence to see the face of the Supreme Lord. If one desires to reach the source of the sunshine, he has to travel through the sunshine to reach the sun, then meet the predominating deity there. The absolute truth is the Supreme Person Bhagavan, as the Srimad Bhagavatam explains. So then, obviously, in this paragraph, it mentions the Brahma Samhita. It's basically just saying that everything is coming from Krishna, and the Brahma Jyoti is basically the effulgence, ultimately it's effulgence of the Supreme Lord. And from the Brahma Jyoti, creation occurs. We'll just carry on here. Sat means effect. Asat means cause. And Param refers to the ultimate truth, which is transcendental to cause and effect. The cause of the creation is called Mahat Tattva, or total material energy, and its effect is the creation itself. But neither cause nor effect existed in the beginning. They emanated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as did the energy of time. This is stated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Yasya Yataha. The source of birth of the cosmic manifestation, Mahatattva, is the personality of Godhead. This is confirmed throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord says, Aham Sarvyasara Pravaha. I am the fountainhead of all emanations. The material cosmos, being temporary, is sometimes manifest and sometimes unmanifest. But its energy emanates from the Supreme Absolute Lord. Before the creation, there was neither cause nor effect. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead existed with his full potency of his full opulence and energy. So again, it's referring that the cause and effect, there is something transcendental to cause and effect. Whereas material scientists are just looking at trying to analyse the cause and effect, not realising there's something beyond that, which as devotees of Sri Krishna, and obviously reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we're coming to the understanding that there is something beyond this cause and effect in the material world. Something beyond the dualities of good and bad, up and down, left and right. And this transcendence is Krishna. It's Krishna himself. The words Paschatam indicate that the Lord exists after the dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. When the material world is dissolved, the Lord still exists personally in the Vaikunthas. During the creation, the Lord also exists as he is in the Vaikunthas, and also exists as Supersoul within the material universes. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 537. Goloka evan nivasati. Although he is perfectly and eternally present in Goloka Vrindavan in Vaikuntha, he is nevertheless all-pervading. Akhilatma Bhutanaha. The all-pervading feature of the Lord is called the Supersoul. In Bhagavad Gita is said, Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhavaha. The cosmic manifestation is a display of the energy of the Supreme Lord. The material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, display the inferior energy of the Lord, and the living entities are his superior energy. Since the energy of the Lord is not different from him, in fact, everything that exists is Krishna in his impersonal feature. Sunshine, sunlight, and heat are not different from the sun, and yet simultaneously they are distinct energies of the sun. Similarly, the cosmic manifestation and the living entities are energies of the Lord. And they are considered to be simultaneously one with and different from him. The Lord therefore says, I am everything, because everything is his energy, and is therefore non-different from him. So here it mentions about the sunshine, the sunlight, the heat are not different, from Krishna, but at the same time they are different. So this is our philosophy at Chinta Abheda Veda Tattva. Also, it mentions the Brahma Samhita, and it talks about the spiritual world. And these scriptures, Srila Prabhupada has given us, give detailed descriptions of the spiritual world. And I'll just refer to, it's the Brahma Samhita 537. which gives a very intense description of the spiritual world. Just if I can find, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure. The embodiments of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confidants, Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. So here we're talking about the creation, and then Prabhupada's bringing in so much knowledge about the actual situation of creation. So you have creation, which is, cause and effect, and in the background you have the spiritual world. So here we are, well, not in the background, but can't really say background, but because it's really prominent. I mean, we just said the Mount Tapa is just a little spot on the spiritual existence. Anyway, so the purport is quite interesting here. It says, although the Lord Absolute and his potency are one and the self-same existence, still they exist eternally as separate entities, as Radha and Krishna, in both the ecstatic energy and the transcendental Lord, Krishna. There exists Sigraha Ras, amorous love, whose quality is inconceivable. The vibhav extension of the rasa, mellow quality, is twofold, by alambana and uttidipana stimulation. Of these, alambana is twofold, and it gets really goes into it here. So I won't read all of it because a lot of it is beyond me, but it's got interesting about the 64 activities, because again, we're talking about activity. Even the material scientists are analysing creation, but what they relate and trying to analyse it in terms of? They're trying to analyse it in terms of activity. Oh, there was a big lump of something and exploded. Whatever. So they analyse it in terms of activity. So also in the spiritual world, where does this activity come from? This perverted reflection of activity comes from the spiritual world, via Radha and Krishna's sort of interactions, and the interactions of the loved and the servitor, or if you like, the lover and the servitor. So in the spiritual world, these activities are going on. They're expressed in fine arts and crafts of the following. I won't read all of them, but one, Gita art. Gita means the art of singing. So in the spiritual, in the material world, we all love singing. Vajra, art of playing on musical instruments. Here, it's all here in the material world, but in a perverted form. Nitya art, the art of dancing, the art of theatrics, the art of painting the face and body with coloured substances, the art of preparing offerings from rice and flowers, making covering of flowers for a bed, the art of applying preparations for cleansing the teeth and clothes and painting the body. And it goes on, talks about jewels and playing unusual things, music on water, splashing water, all these arts. I mean, in Krishna book really goes into detail about when Krishna and Balaram with the school of Sandipani Muni, they were taught all these arts they're educated. They taught all these arts of how to make these drawings, how to read books without opening the cover, and all different sort of very unusual sort of arts. How to control people's minds, all these sort of things. Here we have the art of preparing wreaths. What was it? Art of yoga art, practical dressing in tiring room. Not too sure what that means. Decorating the ear, the art of applying aromatics, art of setting ornaments, so many things. Even preparation of food, art of preparing varieties of salad, bread, cake, delicious food, art of practically preparing palatable drinks and tanging drafts with red colour. So we do all these things in the material world, but they all have their origin in the spiritual world. And we've got weaving and thread, all these sort of, playing the lute, playing an X-shaped drum, art of making and solving riddles, like we have that as puzzles, don't we? Reciting verse for verse as a trial for memory or skill, and we have that. I think someone was mentioning the other day about the very young daughters and no children, young children. They were about 3 or 4 years old, and they're reciting Bhagavad Gita slokas, just like that, you know. Art of enacting short plays and anecdotes. Again, here we have that in the Krishna consciousness movement. You know, we can present the philosophy in plays. Plays are very powerful. Theatre is very powerful because it's all about person. It's about personality. Here we're in this world of, you know, impersonalism. We've lost the art of connecting with one another. We've ironically, during the lockdown, that may be rekindled because we can actually talk to one another and get to know one another. But there's as far as communally goes, then these theatres, these plays can carry a lot of impact, especially when they're connected with the leaders of Krishna, the leaders of Lord Chaitanya. I think was it one of the very early Rath Yatras? There was Prabhu was playing. It was some play about Lord Chaitanya. He was really young, very young, about 19 or 20 or something. But very powerful. Very when you see devotees getting into the part of these leelas, it really impacts on the heart. And I remember Kalipani, he's left his body. Was it this year? He did a play in Belfast, and he did a one-man play, and it was really, really powerful. But just the energy that he had, and just the artistry of projecting these leaders, it was very evident, and it impacts on the heart, and you get emotional because you're perceiving something real, something from the spiritual world, not something that's, you know, presented one day, it's over, or, you know, you keep reenacting something and you get bored of it. And this is a situation in the material world. It's mundane. It's boring. It's not. It can't enliven the soul. Chief Jago. It can't enliven the soul and wake us up to our real position and being eternal servitors of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We'll just carry on a little bit now. You know, it talks about engineering, about silver and jewels, practicing medical treatment by herbs. Very interesting. So I won't go too much into it. But anyway, the last week or so, I've had a few issues. But some of these you can solve quite simply by I had some abscess. I had an abscess in my mouth, you know, and my teeth were killing me, you know. And then and on top of that, I had I won't go into that. Anyway. So anyway, I had to deal with the abscess first and foremost. So anyway, I realised that if you juice celery, right, and you drink it every day on an empty stomach, right, that will deal with infections in your body because it brings down inflammation, you know, and in a harmonic way, in a harmonious way, you know, not by these antibiotics which kill everything in the body along with the whatever you're intending to kill, but they kill everything else as well, you know. Anyway, so that actually worked, fortunately, because all the dentists were closed, and the one that was open, you'd have to pay about €200 just to actually have a little consultation. Well, you give me you're asking me to pay you €200 just to tell me I'm in pain. Sorry. So anyway, so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says of herbs, I'm the healing herb. So the healing is there. We just have to know how about it and how to administer it. So in that case, so that my abscess healed. It's still healing now, but the main thing, the pain went, and then it's just about time, because the body heals itself over time. And in our passionate Western culture, we don't give the body time to heal. We don't do it. We go for the operation, the quick fix, because we're stuck in the mode of passion. Anyway. So there's an art of practicing medicine or a medical treatment. Okay, and also the other way to fix the teeth as well, which we all know, is the famous one, is the volcanic ash. That's the famous one. So really, which is basically just minerals. You drink a teaspoon of volcanic ash in warm water every day for a week, and that will sort out your teeth. It's quite simple. So that saves a lot of money. Well, the dentist won't be very pleased, obviously, but that will save you a lot of money in the long run. Getting hold of the volcanic ash might be a bit awkward, but once you get it, it'll last you for a whole year easily. And take it only when you've got problems with your teeth. And that's all I can say. And the first time I ever took that was I was on the island and I had a big feast. And we were having a big feast. And usually I never take sugar. And I always avoid it, But I thought this time, it's a big feast. I'll whack in the milk products, So I whacked in the milk products. Next day, the pain was unbelievable. Really severe pain. And then one devotee said, take the warm urine from the cows. We had the Kerry cows there. So I took the warm urine from the cow and gargled it. Obviously, I had a few, I was a little bit worried about it. But anyway, I thought just surrender to it, don't we? So anyway, so that worked to a degree, but there was still something there. And I was out doing books in, where were we? We were out doing books nearby in one of the houses. And I came across a devotee, and she said, "Why don't you take this?" Because I mentioned that's a problem with my mouth, and usually with my teeth, I used to take milk and dates, boiled milk and dates. That was a good one. And then she said, "I'll take this," and take it for a week, and then and she gave me the volcanic ash. And what happened was all my gums my top gums went black and soft. And what happened? I must have had a really severe root infection, a really bad one, and the volcanic ash, it drew out all the infection, and then it gradually went, and my gums hardened up again, and that was it, no problem. So that's interesting, and that's just from giving the body the minerals it needs, which you should actually get from growing food yourself. If you grow food yourself, you'll get the minerals in the vegetables. And a little bit of dirt is good for you. That's an old wives' tale, but we hear it and it's true. Krishna likes dirt, apparently. Anyway, so that's an interesting thing. So all these solutions are there in nature. We don't have to, go to big, extravagant extremes of training dentists and all these amalgams of whatever they come up with, and all the hassle which is passed on to the patient, all the hassle of drilling doing this, doing that, I'm a firm belief that you can heal yourself. Heal the body should be able to be healed naturally, because you never read of a dentist in Krishna book. You never come across it. Dentists in 5,000 years ago, every time sort of it was a personality. It was Lord Balaram. He knocked out the teeth of. It was Rukmi and he's Rukmi and. Maybe in Dattavak, maybe I can't convince. But anyway, so we had that personality, had his teeth knocked out, so there was no dentist. That's what I'm saying. Immediately a dentist arrived. Anyway, I agree. So anyway, Hare Krishna. So like that. So yes. So anyway, Hare Krishna. Anyway, so there's and it comes on here. I'll carry on here. This Yuddha Vida art. The art of knowing the mode of fighting of lambs, cocks and birds. That's a strange one. Maintaining, oh, this is interesting. Maintaining or knowing conversation between male and female cockatoos. Healing, oh, this is interesting. I like this. Healing or cleaning a person with perfumes. By perfumes, now that's really interesting. Oh.
Aromatherapy.
You got it. You got it. Aromatherapy. Yeah, that's it. And there's Exara Mustica Cantana, art of talking with letters and fingers. So that's sign language, isn't it? Talking with fingers and letters. No, I don't know. It's interesting. The art of knowing prediction by heavenly voice, or knowing preparation of toy carts by flowers. And that one, the second one, but that prediction by heavenly voice. I mean, this is far out stuff. Mechanics, the art of mechanics, amulets, conversation. Oh yeah, the art of composing verse mentally. And the art of, another good one, the art of designing a literary work or a medical remedy. So these are all arts, these are all, building shrines, what else we got? Concealment of cloths. And there was one famous one which they were in Krishna and Balaram pastime where they were going, the art of dressing yourself, so you wouldn't be able to be recognised by your friends, things like that. Art of using children's toys. You'll love this. The art of enforcing discipline. It's like Vaisesiki said, he lives to be corrected. He lives to be corrected. She's going, I mean, I'm talking about myself. I mean, that's like, I don't like being corrected, but we should live to be corrected. And obviously, Srila Prabhupada, he got great bliss from being corrected by his spiritual master, or chastised by his spiritual master. So we should live to be corrected. And the art of awakening the master with music at dawn, all the interesting stuff, So in this mundane plane that we're on, if we're dull-headed, one of the things, if you're dull-headed, I suppose you won't get bored because you won't realise you're bored. But anyway, the field of occupations is so limited. But again, when you dive into this nectarian ocean of spiritual life, then these our activities really open up. They really open up, and you see that when devotees come to devotional service, and then they start blooming, and like it's a devotional service. It really expands your personality. It really engages your personality if we take to it properly. If we take to it wholly under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, it really expands your personality and your natural talents should bloom. They should come out, and also what you haven't developed should come up as well. So our personalities, as we transverse the path of devotional service, they develop. The personalities they develop, and ultimately, because what is our struggle in life? Our struggle in life is for perfection, because we belong to perfection. So all these pastimes and these things that are going on in Goloka, we belong to them. And we don't belong to this mundane plane, this material world of birth, death, old age, and disease. And the quite simple thing is that everyone's worried about dying of this, that, and the other, whatever virus or whatever. But we're going to die anyway. So why are we worried? if we're in the work, I can say if we're fully engaged in service, we shouldn't be worried at all, because fear leaves you. It totally leaves you. And there's one thing I found, because I was having a few issues and bad shoulder and all this sort of stuff, and I wasn't out on the Harinam as much as I should be, and then that's when you find you have mental problems, and I was finding myself getting whatever, but the point is you got to you have your service, and you're fortunate, and you just throw yourself into it, whatever that service is, just throw yourself into it. And then these mental problems, these, whatever, worrying about the future, whatever it is, they'll leave you. Okay, you've got to actually be concerned about the future, you've got to plan for the future, but worrying about the future is, Krishna will take care of you because you're engaged in his devotional service, as simple as that. Have I finished this? Okay, so I'm just going to finish the last paragraph. Yo Vashishyeta Sachaminam indicates that the Lord is the balance that exists after the dissolution of the creation. The spiritual manifestation never vanishes. It belongs to the internal energy of the Supreme Lord and exists eternally. When the eternal manifestation is withdrawn, the spiritual activities in Goloka and the rest of the Vaikuntha's continue, unrestricted by material time, which has no existence in the spiritual world. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yad gatva na nivatante tad duma dharma param mama. The abode from which no one returns to this material world is the supreme abode of the Lord. That's Bhagavad Gita 15.6. So, the interesting point is there's no time. Time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world. And time here activates the material modes of nature, and it sets everything in motion, and we're embroiled in its mesh. And when one's fortunate enough to come across devotional service or spiritual master, become initiated, get the Bhaktilata Bij, and he can develop his devotional service and re-establish his contact with the spiritual world. And you can do that in one lifetime, believe it or not. You can. So as the last sloka of the Srimad Bhagavatam says, is by congregational chanting, one's karma is dissolved, and by paying a obeisance to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one's material anxieties vanish. So when we engage in this congregational chanting, we get so much benefit. Is one way of associating with advanced devotees is by congregational chanting, by Harinam. Easy way to associate without making offences. Better to do it on the Harinam, because in the temple we can make offences, Seva Aparag, whatever. So many things that we can not get right in our fledgling state, but on Harinam the offences aren't considered. It's outside the temple, and it's just association, and it's a beautiful playground when you can really experience that you have a relationship with the Supreme. You can explore that your relationship with the Supreme by taking the Yuga Dharma seriously, and if you chant seriously with whatever extra rounds, with the intention of performing the Yuga Dharma, with that intention, whether it's congregational chanting or whether it's Harinam, if you chant extra rounds with that intention, so you can actually participate in the Yuga Dharma or in congregational chanting and give something tangible to that performance, then you will see reciprocation with Krishna directly, or Lord Chaitanya. That will happen to some whatever degree depending on the effort you've put in it. But when we approach, again, it's like everything else. If we approach these activities without enthusiasm, because we have to be enthusiastic, we approach these activities without enthusiasm, usually it means we don't understand the activity, what that activity will give us. If we're always aware of what the activity will give us, then we'll actually be enthusiastic, knowing that really no one wants to hang around in the material world. And you've got to be seriously advanced to want to come back and preach in this material world. You've got to be seriously advanced. Because I don't want to come back and preach. Oh my God. All the things that you go through, that the material body goes through. Not to mention that you might make a mistake because you'll be born into a situation where you're given free will. Again, it's like, oh, you're in the movement now. You're a devotee before, so you obviously become a devotee again. Not necessarily so. You may make a choice not to pursue the path of bhakti. That may be a choice, depending on the circumstances that arise. So there's one thing that Shivaram Swami points out. So we should really make all endeavour to at least mentally decide that we should get out of this material prison in one lifetime, go back to Goloka Vrindavan in one lifetime, which actually can be done. As we know, if we engage seriously in congregational chanting and in Harina. And in this situation of lockdown, when we're in temples 24/7, we should at least be doing, chanting 3 or 4 hours a day, at least, the very least. Prabhupada said that chanting should be going on, this congregational chanting should be going on for at least 3 or 4 hours a day in all his temples, and that was before the lockdown. A long time before the lockdown. So I'm just pointing that out, obviously according to situations, number of devotees, whatever. But if we do it, then we'll get attachments, real attachment, and we're doing it every day. If we do it every day, then you get real attachment for the activity, which is the highest activity, the most efficient activity to get us attached to the holy name, which as we know, is only 2 important things in existence: is the holy name and the jiva, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur states. That's the only 2 things that are of real tangible, importance. So we must get attached to the holy name. And I was fortunate enough to come really close to death. I mean, very close. I mean, really close. And I was fortunate to realise that I'm not attached enough to the holy name, so I've got to do that more. Because when death comes proper, then it will be tested. Your attachment to the holy name will be tested at death, and there'll be no one around to help you. You might be fortunate enough to have devotees chanting with you. Yeah, you may be fortunate, but you may not. So you've got to assume that it's you and Krishna at the end of the day. It's just you and Krishna, and we have to get that attachment, and it will come if we engage seriously in the congregational chanting, and we engage seriously in Harinam Sankirtan. It will come without a doubt. This obviously, I am just saying these things. He said 10 years before, and he stressed, an interesting thing he stressed, he said one day we may not have the opportunity to get together to congregationally chant and dance. Global tyranny is on its way, don't think it isn't. He said this 10 years ago. So I'm saying, who knows what the future may hold, but at the moment we still have that opportunity to get together to chant and dance, even if it's just in our homes, even if it's in our temple and there's only a couple of devotees. 3 is a crowd. 1 is not a crowd. So what I'm saying, but 3 is a crowd, and you can do it. Even 2, wherever devotees get together and chant my name, 2 or more. So Krishna's there, even if there's only 2 of you. So we got no excuse, none whatsoever. But when death comes, we'll have no excuse. So, we want to be fixed up, and we have to prepare now for that. Life is a preparation for death, and death is coming. For everyone, that's what we've all got that in common. Death is coming. So we should do this. And we're very fortunate enough to actually have Prabhupada's books to encourage us to perform congregational chanting. And the thing that if you do, as I'm sure you are, if we do that congregational chanting seriously, then another effect of that is you get attached to reading Prabhupada's books. You get that attachment, you get that relish of reading Prabhupada's books. You should be drooling over them. Like, which is true actually. Not drooling because you're falling asleep. You should be drooling because you get so much bliss from reading the books. They're so amazing. So anyway, have I gone over time? Oh, I have. Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I didn't realise that. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So, okay, that's the end. Hare Krishna, Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki. Thank you for listening.
Manu Prabhu is commenting, it was King of Kashi.
Oh, great.
Balaram did the dentistry.
Yeah, the dentistry, thank you, King of Kashi, you're right. Thank you, Manu Prabhu, that's nice, thank you very much. Say King of Kashi then. Well, I'm Krishna.
Interesting point that in this description of the list of the arts that Krishna and Balaram were learning from Sandipani Muni, it's full of very unusual activities for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. They didn't study computer science, computer programming, and
embroidery, everything.
Yeah. It's quite amazing.
And the art of drawing things on the floor with chalk, which you see in the temples, and flower arrangements, everything. Really, yeah.
It's
it's culture. It's culture. That's what it is. Culture.
Hardly any of the activities which are considered popular occupations these days.
Yeah.
List of such.
Thank
That's
you.
why unusual.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah.
I forgot to say any questions, but
Very interesting class. Gulnara Mataji, life is preparation for death, great point. Manu Prabhu says, very deep and enjoyable class. So, these are the comments.
okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.